So the one complaint that people usually have about using Firebase is the fact that it can tend to become a bit expensive, especially at scale. And for this Firestore database, which is a product of Firebase, the pricing model is that you pay for the number of reads and writes operations that you make to the database. So I've got a test project set up here, and in the past 2 hours, I have made about 1.1 thousand reads to the database, right? And for context, I only have about 50 documents in my database. So I have an Angular project set up here, and you can think of it as a store that's used by someone who has an e-commerce store, right? An app that's used by someone that has an e-commerce store. And these are 50 products that the exact documents I was talking about earlier on. At the top, we have some information that shows a summary of the products, right? Like information about the products that we have here. So right here on VS Code, the first thing that I'm doing is I'm getting the products as a stream, as an observable. And down here, you can see I'm getting that from Firestore. So this is, whenever we get real-time updates, this stream is going to be updated. Now, here you can see that I have the total orders, average rating, and the category, the highest rating. And for each of these pieces of information, I'm using the stream distro products to basically derive that value by transforming it in some way. So in the HTML, you can see that each of those values, I am just rendering them on the screen using the async pipe, right? But all of them are derived from this stream of products. So as you can see here, if I refresh my screen, everything works as expected, right? We do get the data, but there's something that's very inefficient about doing it in this way, right? So if I come back here, I'm just going to throw in a pipe to the products so that we sort of see how many times we're actually getting the products from the database, right? So if I save this and I come back, and you'll see that for some reason I'm getting the products about 4 times from the database, right? And the count is 50, which means we're actually making 200 read requests to the database. And the reason why this is happening is because every single time that we try to derive some kind of value out of the stream, it is making an individual request to the database. So the first request to the database to get the products, we get back 50 products. But when we use this stream right here, as opposed to just using the 50 documents that we got from the database, it tries to make another request, or rather it should say that it does make another request to the database, and it gets a fresh 50 documents, and it basically establishes a totally new stream, right? And that's the same thing for the average rating and for the category with the highest rating. So for example, if let's say I just return this as 0, so I'm basically just faking the value. And if I save this and I come back to the app, you will see that it does that 3 times, right? So that's just to confirm. Previously it was 4 times, now it's 3 times. Just to confirm that whatever is happening is actually coming from these values that we have here. Okay. So why is this inefficient? This is inefficient because we are getting the same data over and over from the database when we don't actually need to do that. So what is the solution? The solution is to use the share operator that comes from RXJS. And if we use this, what this operator does, it basically gets the product once, and then it multicasts it to every subscriber that comes afterwards, right? So for example, this is a subscription, this is a subscription, and this one as well, right? Well, at least we subscribe to it on the template side. And it, instead of doing another request to the database, it actually just caches those 50 documents, and then whenever someone asks for them, it just returns them without making another request to the database. So if I save this and I come back here, you'll notice that we only make that request once, right? Which means we can be assured that we're only getting 50 documents from the database and we're not doing some other extra operations that are not actually needed. This took me some time to actually realize that I was actually making database requests that were not really necessary. So if it happens that in your app you write your code declaratively and you happen to have patterns that look like this, where you get a stream of data from Firestore and you use it to derive some other information from that stream, you might want to watch out for this and make sure that you're using the share operator from RXJS. So just some more context on why this could be a potential huge problem. If I remove the share operator and I come back, again, we have those 4 operations that are loaded, right? But take a look at this. If I come here to my database, right? Should actually switch to this tab. This first product, which is what's loaded here. I'm going to update the total amount. Let's say bring it down to 500. If I update this, right, you see that it is updated here in the UI. But if I come down here, you'll see that there were 4 extra requests that came in, right? Or basically the 50 documents that we were listening for from the Firestore database, it was sent to us 4 different times, right? And this can be a real issue, especially if you've been using this pattern throughout your application. It's very easy for your reads to get out of hand. So hopefully with the use of this share operator, as you can see, if I add it back, it only gets it once. And if I update this again, I'm going to update it back to 1000. Then you'll see that it only sends back, or only one stream is updated, right? Only one stream of data is actually updated. And you can see everything still works in the same way. But in this sense, we are being more efficient. Okay, so this is just a tip. There's also the shareReplay operator from RxJS that I won't speak about in this video, but if you want to learn more about this, then you can head over to Joshua's channel that I will link in the description. He has some really good content, and there's a specific video where he talks about this, as well as hot and cold observables. So if you want some more information about that, then you'll see the link in the description. Okay, thanks. I hope that this video did help you, and if you have this pattern in your app, then hopefully you can start making those fixes to reduce the number of reads and writes that to reduce the number of read operations at least that you make to Firestore. Okay.